Okay, guys, thanks for joining us today. Coach will start with a quick opening statement here, and then we'll get to your questions.
All right, well, today was, our second scrimmage. I think what you want to see is a lot of improvement from the first scrimmage to the second scrimmage, which means that some of the things that you've done in practice have been very effective in helping your players improve. And I think that we certainly did that. I also think that we wanted to make things very game-like today. So even though last week's Saturday practice was sort of game situations, it really was still not a scrimmage. And today, for at least 30-some plays, we played exactly like a game with kicking situations, scores, stops, turnovers, whatever happened, and we had to go adjust and play the next play. And I think that was beneficial to the players as well. But I think one of the most important things we need to do is it's very important that our players sort of buy into the culture of what has helped us be successful here for a long, long time, and that's the intangibles that we play with, the work ethic that we have, the discipline that we play with, the toughness, the effort, and people having a great sense of urgency about how important it is to do their job so that their unit, their team, our team has a chance to be successful. And that means we have to play to a standard. And it's not really anybody else's standard, it's our standard. And I think everybody's got to buy into that. They got to buy into the team. The team having success and winning is very, very important, and that should be what everybody buys into. Be the best player that I can be so I can contribute, to the team's success. And in that, most of the time if you do that, you create tremendous value for yourself individually. Because that means you're playing at a high level and playing like everybody likes to see you play, which is playing winning football on a consistent basis. So I think, this kind of signals the end of camp, even though we didn't have camp. We now have to have a sense of urgency to get ready for the season. We'll actually, start that when we go back to practice on Tuesday. In terms of early opponents and starting to get ready for our first game. So I was very pleased with the offense was pretty efficient today. Offensive line is playing really, really well. I think both quarterbacks, played well today. We have some explosive players at receiver. Smitty and Waddle are both playing extremely well, and some of the other guys are coming along and playing, very, very well. Really impressed with the running backs that we have. The young guys have really played well. So we have a lot of good things happening on the offensive side. Defensively, I think there was a lot of good things, but there's certainly a lot of things that we need to clean up and improve on. And again, there's a lot more inexperience on defense. They have to learn the importance of playing together, communicating. Not going out there and just pressing to try to do what they're supposed to do, but, when circumstance changes, that they know how to adapt and adjust and play together as a unit, and I think that's something that we'll continue to get better at. So from a kicking game standpoint, the specialists have done really, really well. A couple punters have been pretty consistent. Will was 4 or 5 today. I think he missed like a 55-yarder or something. So, he's been doing really well from a kicking standpoint. So, a lot of things to work on, a lot of things to improve, but certainly not at all disappointed in the progress that we made to this point.
Okay, if you got questions, go ahead and please use the raise your hand function. We'll start with Tony Sakalas.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to know, did the quarterbacks, did they continue to show momentum from last week's practice?
Yeah, they were very good today, very efficient, good completion percentages, threw for, some big plays, made some explosive plays in critical situations, made some, good plays in special situations. I think the offense was pretty good on third down, which always goes back to quarterback decision making and people getting open. So they played well.
Next, we'll go to James Ogletree.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the money position with Xavier leaving. As far as we know, or I believe DeMarco is the only guy returning who's played that in a game. Who are the main guys who have been taking snaps there, and what are your thoughts about how that's shaking out?
Well, DeMarco is playing it. He has played it some in the past. Brian Branch is a young player that we're trying to play, there as well. We're very, very thin in the secondary. We don't have a lot of depth, and we got a lot of young players, and it's very difficult to train them at multiple positions. But we're trying to use this time to be able to do that. Whether we can continue that throughout the season, I remains to be seen. But if we have the best players, to play when we're playing nickel, then we just have to play nickel instead of dime. But I feel like we got a pretty good first group. It's just going to be a work in progress developing these, younger players who have made extreme progress. All right, so I'm really pleased with them. But I just know from past experience that when you try to, get, especially when the season starts and things change from week to week, to get young players to play multiple positions, and they don't have really a lot of experience to draw from, it makes it very difficult for them.
Next, we'll go to Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, just wondering about Will Reichert and his confidence coming into his second season, and also wondering who is his backup this year at kicker.
There's still a lot of competition at the kicking position. Joseph's still here, and he has a lot of experience, and he's actually made improvement, this fall. And we have some other guys that are in the program that have done extremely well. So, there's a lot of competition there, and I'm not ready to single anybody out. We're still trying to figure out who the best kicker is.
We'll go to Charlie Potter.
We've heard a lot about LeBron Ray this offseason, but what have you seen from the young guys that got opportunities last year? Guys like Justin Boygby and Byron Young and Christian Borle, how are they kind of taking that next step?
I think they're making progress. I think Justin's probably the guy that has been the most consistent guy. All those guys have made a lot of progress. Barmore has certainly been one of our best pass rushers. He's going to be out for a few days with a knee injury, not significant, not serious, but so he didn't work today, but he has done it really, really well. But we got to get these guys to be good all-around players. We got to get them to be able to rush the passer. Some of them play the run. Got to improve rushing the passer. We got some guys that rush the passer well, and they've got to improve on playing the run. So, it's kind of a group effort to get that group continuing to improve. Without watching the film today, I can't really comment on exactly, how we did. But for the most part, we have been a little more physical up front. And, we're getting challenged every day because we got a pretty good, offensive line. I've been pleased with the way they've played. So, it's good competition for everybody.
We'll go to Mike Rodak now.
Just speaking of that offensive line, what have you seen out of Landon Dickerson this summer, and what will go into the decision on whether he plays guard or center?
Well, Landon has been great. I mean, he's been a really good leader of that group. He does extremely well when he plays center. He does really well when he plays guard. We're going to make a decision at some point in time. How do we get the best 5 guys on the field? That may have something to do with what the injury situation is. But, as of right now, he's played extremely well at center, and we've asked him to play guard. He's played very well there. So, but, as other players develop, we always want to be able to get our best 5 guys in there, and, that may mean that he ends up playing some guard at some point in time down the road.
Coach, that's all we've got today. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, guys.